It's 9:15.
Is it true that my mic has been muted for the entire stream and I had no idea? I think it is. Yeah. Well, hello everyone. Dear God, am I that bad at OBS? That should be better. All right, oh my God. Now none of you have any idea. I use the plural of you even though there's one viewer, just in case, I guess. Hi. God. Yeah, that's... Okay, now I have 2 viewers. Now I can actually use the plural of you. Back to actual work, I guess. It's funny because I was explaining what the hell I was doing, and had no idea my mic was muted. What the hell? Great, so now I need to write some code to put in this function. Because I'm at the point where, like, I could compile this and it would just do nothing, and that wouldn't be very useful. So... Ugh. Well, okay. Source in this case is going to be xml monitoring ring versus val. It could be the other way around. I don't really know or care. But it should work either way. And then it should also work when one of these parameters doesn't have the XMN thingy attached. Don't forget we also need the size. I forgot what the proper type is for that. Apparently it's int. Okay. How am I going to do that? Well, I guess here we get back to the whole gadget dimension thing I'm talking about. We have the size, we have the source, we have the destination. Based on that, we need to look up a gadget. Something we could just do is, like, generate a 3-dimensional array where you can just index it with this source, dest, and size. Or like just have 4 arrays.
It's 9:30.
Yes. Now you all know what time it is. You also know that my my system audio capture is working. Does it know both whether the val is reg or mem? Fuck, that's also something I need to consider. The way it would know whether it's reg or mem is from the mod rm. Which adds a whole new dimension to this shit. So I feel like now we're gonna need like an enum for vec gadget type. I really would prefer to not have to have 3 helper functions for each instruction. That's just a lot of duplicate code. What I want to just do is is just is just pass 2 pointers to like the helper, one for each operand, and then have the assembly gadgets being doing all the hard work to make that work well. It's true that writing all this logic in assembly language might not be a good idea. Really not quite sure what the alternative would be, though. Is there a what? What am I drinking? I'm drinking water. You probably could have guessed that. Great. The big difficulty here has been just just like how like what is this enum even? Flavor LaCroix. We don't have LaCroix at home, only in micro kitchens. No, it's just water. Vanilla? What? Okay. I'm gonna give up. This is about as coherent. What I'm typing right now is about as coherent as my thought, like what I know so far about what this will be. Am I giving mod to the helper functions? You mean these functions? No, that's dumb. Line 396. Yeah, I just forgot to write the code that would pass that in. It's fine though, because it won't compile and I'll remember to fix it. Vec gadget type. Like, what the fuck? Let's see. I guess I can just try and, like, copy this list I have here. But this doesn't include the dimension of, is it register or memory? Actually, never mind, it does. That was the whole point of me making it. So, okay. You might be right that that's a good idea. So, yeah, okay, so we could sync this in into assembler. And what's the example of reg to mem? Reg to mem. Luckily, when I was making this table, I made sure to have an example and everything. So, reg to mem would be... Actually, fuck. I think this is Intel syntax. Yeah, this is Intel syntax. This is all backwards. Fuck. What do we gotta do? That, apparently. Hi, Aaron. Yes, I'm making, like, I'm trying to make SSE instructions work in this app. Matt's explaining it much better than I am. The plan is I'm gonna make one CPU instruction work, and then hand it off to Matt, and he can go ahead and claim the $150 bounty. Yeah, well, feel free to hang out. You might not understand what the hell is going on here, but that's okay. Sometimes I don't. Okay, luckily I didn't, like, these are both like symmetrical. So AT&T syntax makes no difference. This is not Python, this is C. Which instruction? This that I'm working on right now is, if I go back enough times I should find it. No. I think it's MOV-SD, which is mover merge scalar double precision floating point val. This is all way more complicated than it really needs to be. It's literally just move 64 bits from one place to another. The complicated part is that there are just too many ways to say this is the source and this is the destination. And I have to, like, handle every single one of them. Okay, so these are all symmetrical, no biggie. This is also symmetrical. I can just... I'm an idiot. These are all symmetrical. It doesn't matter if they're backwards. Hi, Soccer, by the way. Do they all encode the same way? The problem is not the way they encode, but the way they're going to, like, call into the assembly language gadgets. How do you know if it's... Well, my point, the reason I'm saying it doesn't matter is because I have both ways. I just have both ways in here. Rightio. There are two different MAVIS-D instructions, that's true. I just want to do magic so that I can use the same helper for both. I just think that would make my life easier. Or would it? Because thinking about it, most instructions, almost every instruction, only has, like, one direction it goes in. Like, MAVIS-D is the exception here. So, yeah. Yeah, almost all of these instructions, they just read from memory. The ones that write from memory are, like, very specialized. I mean, the ones that write too. So, there is a MAVIS-D for moving between XMM registers. There is. Actually, both of them would work for that. Just kidding. Only this one would work for that. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah. Only the first form would work for. Only the second form would work. Wait, no. Both work for moving between XMM registers. I guess I just don't understand why this table has them listed as two separate forms. Yeah. So often in Intel, there are 5, 6 different ways to do exactly the same thing, which are like different microarchitecturally in ways I really don't care about. Okay, does this help? Not really. Because I would still need, I really want to, like, not have the for loops be too bad. So, like, I guess one way to look at it here is there are 4 blocks here, and then each one of them has 2 ways. You could do it backwards or forwards. So, yeah. Why am I trying to cram it into one function? Because there are, like, there are hundreds of SSE instructions, and having to copy paste, and like if I had two, if like say I had 2 functions, well, okay, let me clarify. There's no reason I am trying to. There's actually no good reason for me to cram both encodings of MAVIS-D into one function. Yeah, it's actually really worth realizing right now. Yeah, that is so true. We'll have 2 functions. Because there are like 3 functions, like MAVIS-D. If like not 3, but like 5 instructions that are in like MAVIS-D in this way, and that's not too much to duplicate. Virtually every other instruction is only would need 1 copy. But now I need different names for these. I need to name the arguments correctly. I'll start with just naming the functions. MovSD x2x, MovSD x2m,
It's
MovSD.
9:45.
I don't want to call it MovSD because there are a whole bunch of Intel instructions that do precisely, exactly, in no way different, the same exact operation as MovSD. Like, I think there's one called MovSI. No? Okay. I was wrong. Fuck. Hopefully I'm not just bullshitting this. I see MovSD. I see MovSS. I swear to God there was something. Oh, MovD. No, this is for MMX. This is just a 128-bit move. What the fuck is this instruction? This is also a 128-bit move. Oh, actually, no, this does support. Yeah, all right, MovD is actually the instruction I was looking for that that has precisely the same functionality as MovSD. The only difference is one of them you're supposed to use when you're dealing with floating point numbers, and the other one you're supposed to use when you're dealing with integers. There is no difference in what these instructions actually do, but presumably they thought they could optimize it a little more if they knew whether you're working with integers or floats. Now, I don't give a shit about that. That's why I don't want to call this MovSD. I'm going to go with something more generic like Mov64. But that leaves me with the question. I need two copies. What do I name them? These two copies correspond to the two different encodings. So this, of course, I need one that can read from memory and one that can write to memory. Yes, that's what I. Yes, Sagar, I would like to just have. I want to be more generic than I'm moving a 64-bit floating point number or a 64-bit integer. This is just I'm moving 64 bits of data. This gets even worse when you're dealing with hold on, when you're dealing with the when you're dealing with like 128 bits, because you have MOV APD, you have MOV APS, MOV DQA, MOV DQU. These all do exactly the same thing. They all are just they all are just copying 16 bytes. But Intel decided that there should be a difference. For me, there's not a difference. Gotta get some water. I have this sneaking suspicion that my volume is too high. If so, I'd like to know. Alright. Oh, okay, cool. I was just wondering because when I pulled off my headphones, I saw the microscale just go completely red. Oh well. Yeah, but I don't want to force you to like have different volume controls for different programs. That just sucks, right? We should all standardize on like some middle point. Oh well. Yeah. Yeah. Did you know there's a font called Wolf Mono, and Matt uses it as his i3 window manager font? Alright. I still haven't decided what to name these. How could I use what? Oh, Wolf Mono? I see. Yeah, I don't have, yeah. I don't really have, opinion about fonts, except Fear Code is, like, really good, in my opinion. I don't really know why I have that opinion, I just do. Recently at work I switched to Terminus, or no, it's called Terminus, because I just gave up on getting Linux to render fonts as good as Mac, and just gave the fuck up, and now I use a fucking bitmap font, which only supports 9-point size, but that's perfect for me. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if Termes does have larger sizes, but you're right, my eyes are better than yours. I keep saying Terminus when I should say Terminus. Great, I still haven't figured out what to name these. With one, it's, these two functions here, of course. The idea is that, the second argument will, we'll change this to be an int. How about? How well does that work? Philip, thanks for following. Wait, an int? Like the idea is this would be like an int for, just the index of the XMM register, but then I have to deal with those rare instructions that take an integer register and not like an XMM register, which you can't like do in. I mean, the main difference between those two types of registers is I can just, the XMM registers are numbered, I can just index them, but not with the like integer registers. So the idea of using an int here as an index wouldn't really work for the general registers, which is why I was thinking of using a pointer. Oh, how do the two functions differ? One of them is used to, one of them corresponds to, where's modesty? No, that's not. There are... Holy shit. Intel has not one, but two completely different instructions with exactly the same mnemonic. What the fuck? Wow. You asked what the two functions correspond to. One of them corresponds to this encoding, where the memory comes second and is, I guess, being read from. And then the other one is the other encoding where the memory is being written to. This is a little late, but thanks for subscribing, Philip. Now you can use my dab emoji throughout Twitch, which is probably not why you subscribe, but thanks. Okay. The second, you're right, the second one is a store. That's actually probably the best way to name these. But then, how does it make sense that it's both mauve and store? I don't know, man. Naming things is hard. At some point, you just have to give up. What is that emoji, Philip? Philip 9. Also, someone just followed, but the notification went off the screen. 1 sec. Dr. Cab, thanks. I wanted this to be so, alright. I'm a fan of AT&T notation, so I will, actually no. I can't, how am like my favorite assembler notation can't be used to guide the order of arguments to this function. Because because it's always like the first argument is, let's make it just the first argument is a register and the second argument is memory. So if you're doing a load, the first argument is the dest and the second argument is the source. The body of a function can stay exactly the same, luckily. Thanks, Philip. Sorry, Sagar. AT&T is objectively the best, not because of any way, not at all because of the syntax of it, but because it's supported by Clang. And I just can't use anything that's not supported by Clang, because that would be a fucking dependency, and I hate dependencies, says the guy who depends on like 5-6 different things listed in the README. Wait. I hope to God. I swear last time I checked, Clang actually didn't support that, but I guess I'll have to check again now that you are telling me about it. Huh. Okay. This is a scroll of truth moment for me. Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock.
Anyway, in case you didn't quite notice, a half an hour has gone by since the last time. Actually, I don't know. This is of no importance whatsoever. I have 6 viewers. Why do I have 6 viewers? I think the reality is, it's not my watches slightly off. Instead, the stream latency is screwing it up. Oh well. What if you encode the stuff in the? What do you mean by that, Matt? What on earth does that actually mean? If I encode the stuff in the modern format for the args. Okay, we've gotten as far as naming these functions. What now? Modern is 1 byte. Yes. Just kidding. In some cases, it can be 2 bytes, and then in some cases, there can be an extra 2 or 4 byte number after that, and all of which is important. This is all for like encoding the a memory address. Anyway, so now there's now I have to have 2 of these. Move load and move store. At which point, why do I have a move? Why am I even calling this move? Okay, provide 2 modern values to the function. What does a modern value mean? I'm sort of trying to do that by passing pointers. All right, let's have the convention be all the vector instructions start with V, so we can finish the job that Intel started. Yeah, there is actually a vmov SD. Behold. However, it is an AVX instruction, so I will completely avoid it for as long as I possibly can. This is a good strategy. Okay, load 64, store 64. The only difference between being the ordering of the arguments. Now that I still need to worry about whether this instruction is reading or writing memory. So, okay, because the check for like the permissions, whether I can do that without segfaulting, is different. So is this really simpler now? Well, I guess it is, maybe. Yeah, okay. We've switched from thinking about the ordering of things to, because now the okay, so we now are thinking about, is this a reader or a writer regarding memory? Is XMM reg changed at all? Which XMM reg? The struct XMM reg? That's a type. No, that's not new. It's been here since... how long? It's been here since 2017, apparently. Great, now I have to figure out how to write code. The memory always comes second. That will be my convention. Could you point that at a... you mean like this pointer? Sure. Absolutely. Maybe. It's undefined behavior, but it will of course end up doing exactly what I want. iSH is fucking full of undefined behavior. It's really... I'm starting to have the same attitude as Linus towards undefined behavior, which is I need to do this particular thing, and so I will only support compilers that define this behavior this particular way, which is why you can basically only compile the kernel with GCC until Google's like, fuck GCC, licensing is shit, we demand that all of Android be compiled with Clang. And they were only able to do this by patching the shit out of Clang, but they did get it working. Slightly. I don't know. What am I relying on? Mostly shit that would break down if... mostly shit that would totally break on a big endian platform. Things like assuming that if you cast down a pointer and then cast a pointer to a pointer of a smaller size and then dereference it, you get the integer gets truncated. Let's see, where are we? Great, XMM to reg. Yeah, pointer, okay, not pointer of a smaller size, pointer to a smaller size. Like if you have a pointer to a 32-bit int, and you cast it to a pointer to a 16-bit int, and rely on that, that pointer is going to give you the same thing if you cast the value at the 32-bit pointer to a 16-bit. I'm starting to wonder if maybe it's getting confusing that, well, okay, what the fuck is going on here? Hold on. Okay, it's true that nobody has... okay, so it's true that everybody has the memory as the second argument. Why are you masking the pointer? I mean, something like this. Yeah, that's basically the behavior I'm relying on. Let's see. Huh. So you do have these. Hold on, this is Intel syntax. I'm not used to Intel syntax. Put it in a union, you say. Unions have exactly the same problem. Still undefined behavior. I do actually use unions in a lot of places. Yeah, it's undefined behavior if you write into the union with one alternative and then read from a completely different alternative. Pretty sure that's undefined. I won't even respond to that, Matt. Great, we've scared all the viewers away. Now we can actually get something done, maybe. Yeah, what's starting to get confusing is how the operands are like in a different order depending on whether it says load or store. And is it really true that we have this, okay, and we have this? So really, either one could be a okay. Yeah, actually, no. We don't. We want to actually write these as different orders. But then this. We can do that. Okay, so this is the final form. Maybe. Nothing is final. Ever. Yeah, we can just fix it in post. That's very true. Load store. I think we might have come to the point where I need to start trying to write some assembly language. Okay. Okay, Sagar. If a member used to access the contents... Oh. Okay, what the fuck? How does it... Is type punning not undefined behavior? Let's check 262. Or 626. Representations of types. Damn it. Why can't you make a clickable PDF? Okay. The representations of all types are unspecified, except as stated here. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it does demand that you must use base 2. Okay. And that size of actually means it is this many bytes. So you couldn't use C9. You couldn't have a C99 compliant compiler on in like a ternary system. I see. When a value is stored. Okay, so they take unspecified values. So this isn't program ending undefined behavior, but you have no guarantee that you will get any you have no guarantee that you'll get any particular number out
It's
of it.
10:15.
I guess that's better. I think it says unspecified. Or, wait, no, does it say implementation defined? I've already completely forgotten what it says. Yeah, at least you won't get nasal demons, but you may not get what you want. Alright, I guess it's not exactly undefined behavior then. Great, unspecified it says. I don't know, man. Why do we have to have legal debates over our language standards? Why can't we just write code? Which is kind of not something I'm doing a lot of right now, but... Okay. Yes, HackerNews. You should just go to HackerNews and start this debate. Like, post a clip of my stream and to HackerNews, and you can debate it. Now, this still doesn't make it any kind of reasonable to write the assembler code, because you have to, like, know, is this a load or a store? What are the parameters? Ah, God. Time's going by. Getting more and more sleepy. Still haven't vacuumed. It's not quite the same thing because you need to check different bits in the memory protection. You also need to handle it slightly differently if it's a write that spans 2 pages versus a read that spans 2 pages. Yes, Sagar, it is awful. And what am I going to do? Yes, well, before I can write code, I have to know what code to write. And that's what's being a problem. Just balance some scissors, and then we get started, I guess. Okay, that goes in a new tab, so we can get out of the way, and start attempting to write some gadgets, I guess. So it's something similar to this here, but a little worse. Alright, so I think we can have it enumerate every permutation of the first and the second argument. The first argument can be xmm or reg. The second argument can be xmm, reg, memload, or memstore. And then we just throw out all the combinations we don't need. So we need to throw away that enum, I guess, and make a new one call that just has, this is vec arg. And there's literally no reason to not generate all of these. They take up no space, even if some of them are never called. Great, so the array will be indexed. So we'll end up with a three-dimensional array where you index it by the like the the bit size, the size in bits, as defined in like this enum up here. And so I'll need to add more cases to this. And then you index it by two of these, by this twice. I guess it's important to, why is size count in the middle of an enum? It's a long story. Great, so we actually have only two choices for the Alright, this is shit, but okay. Should the first one be reg? Look, I have completely lost track of what the fuck order these things are supposed to be in. I just know that if there's memory, the second one is memory. And I shouldn't call these source, but instead. I don't have a reg. Good point, good point. Do I need that? I do think, I probably do need that. Yeah, I definitely need that. I completely forgot about that. Okay. So now we have to deal with the hell that is multi-dimensional arrays. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me show you something fun. So if I could pull up a Godbolt. Actually, no. Godbolt would take a little. Would be a little annoying. What would be a good place to show this? x86 math. So see here we have a loop. There's an outer loop. And there's an inner loop. You might be wondering, actually, no, a better place is in bits. So we have a loop here, outer loop, inner loop, and then inside the inner loop, it just expands a macro. Now, you might think, why couldn't you just take this entire macro and stick it inside? Why did you have to define a macro called doShiftD? Instead of just taking the contents of this macro and just like inlining it right here, because this doShiftD is never called anywhere else. The answer is because if you do that, you'll get various ridiculous syntax errors. because Clang is just that good at assemblers. Now, do I want to go write code, or I should just write this function. So then I know more about what the assembly code needs to do. Code. Yes. Y'all, it's your fault that I'm not writing any code. I'm just reading chat. Actually, no. The real problem is I need a snack. Baby, I guess. Drops mic. That's noise. That's also OBS not being able to keep up and trying to turn down the bitrate. What does genvec do? That's supposed to be the helper function that does all the hard work of turning this into something useful. I check Twitter. We now have Microsoft Defender for macOS. I proceed to delete Twitter. Why? Who wants this? It's a piece of trash on anything that's not Mac. Yeah, I mean, that's the obvious answer, but I don't have fucking antivirus on my Corp workstation.
It's 10:30.
Instead of antivirus on my Corp laptop, we have a program called Santa, which keeps a list of which binaries are naughty and nice, and just whitelists and blacklists binaries by their hash, instead of like trying to scan things, which is stupid. Yeah, I mean, it is true. Google has a very persistent rootkit on every device, on every machine they own. They probably do scans from time to time where they're like, okay, run the script on every Linux box that, like as root, that checks to see if this file or like this particular malware signature we know of is there. Or they're like, yeah, it's quite transparent actually. It's always there though, lurking beneath, perpetuated by policy banning any non-Google distribution of any operating system is insecure. You can't even run shit in a VM presumably because then the like the guest OS is untrusted, and then you have to worry about uh, the VM escapes. So you have to like find some way of like just getting a completely separate box on which to run your VM. Um, yeah. Okay. Is this the source? Is this the dest? What the fuck is wrong with like the ordering of everything? Yeah. Yeah, the threat model is questionable in many ways. The threat model apparently doesn't include people who realize you can just make a fake badge, on like draw it on a piece of paper and no one will notice because everyone's walking too fast to see it's holographic. Um, oh well. I guess they assume that I don't know, man. Yeah, I mean, at Google, people all the time, at Google, half the time, if someone goes through a door, you can sneak in without them noticing before the door closes. I'm imagining it was slightly different at Apple. And if you, if the person does notice you going through, they'll just like whip their head around. If they see something vaguely bad shaped, they'll say, "Okay, you're fine." Yeah. Yeah. There are probably people who just who don't work at Google, who just go to Google and eat free food every day. Because it's so ridiculously easy to get in. Yeah, the amount of access just random Googlers have to things on campus is ridiculous. Like, you can get into at least 70% of the buildings. I was able to find a Pixel 4 prototype the other day after going through exactly one locked door which is open to any Googler. Um, that kind of I guess that tells you how much they care. Yeah, they definitely care much less about secrecy of the Pixel than about secrecy of the iPhone. How long has it been since I last wrote any code? It's got to been at least a few minutes. Oh boy. And this is because I was getting very confused about the whole source versus dest thing. Like, great. This is backwards. This should match up with, where's that file? This should match up with the order of arguments here. Or this is dest. This is source. What would you? Expected expression, you say. What did I do wrong? Oh, apparently nothing. At what point can I stop writing code and go to bed? And pass the baton, as it were? I have nothing that works, so maybe I should keep going a little longer. Okay. Fuck, da, da, da. Yeah. What do you do? I'm curious, as a Darwin Experiences consultant. Nothing. Nice. Best kind of job. It's what you get to do in Google if your project gets canceled and you can't find a new project. Just huh, what happened? Fuck. Huh. How do you
It's
burn
10:45.
3/4? That's a lot of money to to accidentally burn. Oh well. How am I supposed to know what this Whether this is a load or a store. I don't get it. Hi Tego, this is C, not C sharp. Great. So what we have set up here is this bizarre situation where the operands just get flipped so that they are now in the same order, which is dumb. But actually, let's fix that problem. There we go. Now the operands aren't idiotically flipped around anymore. But this doesn't leave us a way to know whether this is a load or a store without me, like, trying to add a parameter here. Right. Fuck this. Yeah, I'm down to having literally no way to tell if this is a load or a store. Now, you know, I could have just left these in the same order and be like, okay, if whichever one is memory, but tell whether it's a load or a store by which one is memory. Alright, let's go back to fucking flipping the operands like an idiot. Can you encode it in argreg? Or what? Well, the information that would tell me whether it was a load or a store is whether the first or the second, or is whether the source is the memory or the destination is the memory. And like if I just lose that information right here by always putting the arguments in the same order with the memory second, then I just have no way to tell anymore. So here's what I think would be a good idea. If one of these is memory, okay, what do you mean? Well, what enum values should I add? So, like, an enum value meaning... Okay, so an enum value meaning this is to be stored in. No, I prefer... I like... yeah, that's one way. That would be a legit way of doing it, but I think it's better to do it this way, because then, it matches up a little better, I think, with... Okay, how did that get there? With the way everything else works, where you have modern val, modern reg, modern val, and then you can put them in a different order, and and then just change that to XMM modern reg or XMM modern val. Yeah. God. Okay. so what this is do? Okay, so this is just called source and dist. And we set this up to only return load or something. And then we do this check. Source, okay, so we leave it like that. And then if and then just do this total bullshit, which is like does this make any sense at all? It probably does. Actually, no, this doesn't. So, like, if the if the memory got put second, that means it needs to be transmuted into a store. This makes no sense, but that's nothing new. Everything is awesome. My computer is trying to back up and stream at the same time, which cannot end well. I'm feeling fairly good about this code I just wrote. And then how do we decide this? Why vreg and vrm? V for vector, and then this is either register or memory. As usual, I am leaving it to somebody else to write the comments explaining what the fuck is going on. Yeah, it was like it's inspired by Modern. but not really exactly the same. Everything is awesome, I think. Alright, and then we're supposed to generate a call to one of these gadgets, which I haven't written yet. Actually, I can't do that right now. I need to sleep. Thanks for watching, multiple people. I think I can say that as if there's 2 viewers.